Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It will soon be here. I venture to say it is here. Don't stop thinking about the possibilities that exist in your life at all time. That is what this song says to me, always. And with that said, don't look back. You're not going in that direction. You know, the song says, don't you look back. What are we looking back for? And yes, we can say, it's funny, this weekend I was at a friend's house and we had a very lively, spirited discussion about what words mean. And one of the things that I got, especially with this song, Don't Stop, one of the things that I got is you can't always be looking back, but there's a measure of trying to understand where you're bringing your past into your present, right? Whatever happened in the past you bring to your present, but why do you do that? Is it to punish yourself? Is it to learn something or glean something? And that's the difference, in my opinion. If you're bringing something in from your past, bring it for a reason. Because if not, then all it is you're beating yourself up about it. So I love this song because to me it encourages me to move forward and understand what my possibilities are so that I'm always looking forward to something bigger and better. So this is the month of value. And my question to you guys is, what do you value? Shout out some of the things that James talked about how he values himself, which is great. What else do you value? Family, friends, marriage, health, community, kids, life, wife. Yes. Way to bring it there. Freedom. Sex. Yes. Free speech and sex. That sounds great. That sounds like a combo. And here's my next question to you. Why do you value those things? Why do you value free speech? Why do you value freedom? Why do you value sex? Why do you value family? Why do you value health? Why do you value that? Yes.
Because it feels good.
Yes. And I ask this question because I wonder how many times we ask ourselves these questions, why it is that we believe what we believe in, why it is that we value the things that we value. Why do we stand for the things that we stand for? Are we standing for something because everybody else is? Because it's a belief that's been bequeathed to us from our society, from our parents, from our communities? Why do we value something? And do we know what we value? So this week has been a very interesting week for me in the sense of speaking about value and really diving deep into what it is that I actually value in my life. Now, I value my kids, I value my family, I value my friends. And then I had to do a deeper dive into what is it that I value about myself? Like, what do I value about life? What do I value? And in order to do that, I had to kind of step back and think about the times where I didn't value myself, where I didn't value my circumstances, where I judged certain things for one reason or the other, and then had the ability to find other people that were in the same situation. Because as we know in this teaching, it's all energy, right? Everything is energy. And what you attract is not what you want, but who you are. Mm-hmm. That's what you attract in your life. And if you want to know what it is that you believe, as we always say, just take a look at your life. Take a look at what you're attracting. Take a look at what you're standing for to be okay in your life. And then glean what it is from there that you actually value. Is this something that I value? You know, Scott very provocatively said free speech. And right now, we are going through a very interesting situation, not just in this country, but in this world. And I don't want to bring it to politics because it is not my position to pontificate about any of that. But it is my responsibility to stand up here and say that this is not an issue of policy and politics. It's an issue of spirituality and humanitarianism. That if this is an issue that we talk about how we value other people in our lives and in our world based on the fact that how we value ourselves. And so this week, like I said, has been a very interesting week, and I've had a lot of internal conversations about how it is that I want to handle myself out in the world. Do I want to be someone who stands for something, or do I want to be someone who stands against something? Because those are your choices, right? And even that alone dictates where your energy is going to be. Mm-hmm. Am I for this, or am I against this? Mm-hmm. Because it's easy to rally in either direction. And the thing is, we start to rally other people too, right? And one version feels better than the other. One of the things that I value are my words. And do I have the clicker here? I value my words, but it took some deep diving to understand, is it my words that I value or my judgment that I value? You know? Because I can easily watch the news or see what's going on in the world and really judge it. And it's not doing me any good as I'm standing in my or sitting in my living room on TV or hearing it on the radio in the car. It is not lifting my own worth, my own value to understand that I am in charge of the energy that I emit out into the world. Mm-hmm. That my value in this world is based on how I perceive myself. And as Dr. James talked about earlier, it's not just about the universe that is giving me all that I am, but that I turn around and give that right back out to the universe. What is that energy? As it filters through me, is it filtering through me in an open space that values not just who I am, but then turns around and values everybody else? So when I thought about the words that I value, I really had to think about what it is that I say to myself. And so I got this quote from Wayne Dyer. Words are decrees. You cannot always control what's going on outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. And this is what we were talking about earlier, right? The within and the without. This was the quote from Washington Irving that said, "After all, it is the divinity within that makes the divinity without." This is what we're talking about. Your words, what you say internally is what you experience externally. Even if you could say, I didn't say that, I didn't do this, I didn't feel that way. You did if your energy is coming from that place. You cannot control what happens outside, but you can control what happens within you. And then that experience shows up outside. So I was talking about the conversations that I had with my friends 2 nights ago. We had a dinner party. It was very lovely. And I asked the question, what do you value? Like, what is it that you value? And one of the answers was faith. I value faith, but I don't know where faith and value have any place in religion. And I said, well, they have a lot of place in spirituality, because what you value in yourself is the faith that you have in yourself. And so as we were having these discussions, the other thing that showed up is the word regret. And what does that mean? And I choose not to use the word regret because words are decrees. For me, the word regret has nowhere to go. I regret something that I do. Do I have things that I wish I wouldn't have done? Sure. Can I learn from them? Yes. So do I have situations that I know that I can learn from? Yes. That's what he called regret. And so for him, it was like, we're mincing words here. Like, why are you using this? And I'm saying the same thing with regret, what you're saying about learning. He's like, and this is one of the things that sometimes drives me nutty about these teachings. It's because it's all woo-woo, and it's all good, it's all God, it's all good, it's all God. And I said, it is all good, and it is all God. But you have to understand what it is that you're saying before you can actually say it, because it's not something to just placate what's happening. I don't use the word regret, not because I'm terrified of it or I shy away from it. Because for me, the word regret doesn't allow me to learn anything or to experience something new or to actually wind down into myself something that I can learn from. So I don't use regret. But he can, and he does, and I accept that. That's the nature of the difference between our words. I forgot what I was going to say here because he said something that I thought was really interesting. We were talking about faith and how faith for him was something that he can only have in himself and not in others. And I agree with that. I actually do agree with that because the faith that I have in myself shows up in others. We're talking about life being mirroring back to us exactly what we put out to it. Really, that's what we're talking about, right? So the divinity within is the divinity without. But if I don't understand that my divinity within is also creating the divinity without, that the energy that I come to you, the pancakes, shows right back up to me. And actually, I think it's the energy that you guys emit because it's always so kind and loving that you can't help but turn around and be kind and loving right back to both of you. So what are you putting out in the world? First, it has to start with the question, what do you value about yourself? What do you value about the world? What is it that you want to bring? What is it that you want to change? What is it that you want to do? It starts within. And the next thing that I value is faith. And I love this quote by Ernest Holmes. Faith is a mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable or impossible. Do you guys have that kind of faith? I mean, I'd ask you, Dr. James, but I know you have that type of faith. I know you do. Do you have this type of faith that it is anything in its contradiction is unthinkable or impossible? And if you do, I love it. And if you do, what is that? Is it faith in something that is outside of yourself? Or is it faith that's something inside of yourself that you have? Is it faith in your society? Is it faith in your congregation? Is it faith in your minister? Or is it faith in yourself? Is it faith in your knowing that wherever you walk, whatever you believe, wherever you are going, it is constantly lighting up a path so that when you're sitting in the center, it's not because you have faith in people outside of you, because you have faith in yourself to know that you've come here to hear something, to know something, to understand something, and carry that out in the world. That the path and the light is completely open to you because you have such faith in yourself that no matter where you are and no matter where you're going and no matter what you're doing, you're constantly being driven in a space that grows you. Because at the end of the day, that's all we are, right? We're constantly growing. You can't be static and dynamic at the same time, can you? No, you can't. You're either static or you're dynamic. And I mean, I would actually venture to say that you're not even just static. That's impossible. But you can sort of implode a little bit when you're that static. So you have to always be understanding your own dynamic energy that exists because the I am that I am, just as we sang earlier today, because that energy is being given to you at all times. That your life, that your world, that your energy, not just yours, but everything else outside of you can change at any given moment. Any moment. As long as you're willing and open to it and have the faith that who you are is open to that, is the funnel of that type of energy that goes everywhere you go at all times. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not always that. I do let other things in the world. I sometimes let what's happening outside in the world affect me, which is what happened this week for myself. So much what was going on in the world just felt so heavy in my heart that I didn't want to ignore it because I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair. This is going back to my friend Shauna and I talking where it's all good, it's all God. Let me just pretend it's not there. Let me move on. I wanted to honor what was happening within me because I have the faith that whatever is happening within me, even if it doesn't feel good, it's there because it's there to light up the next step for me in the direction that does feel good. that does grow me as a person, that does have the ability to share with other people that light within. Because the light within you, when we say namaste, it's that light within me sees and honors the light within you. Always. And so when you think about the things that you value, that you really truly value for yourself and for others, when you come from it at a place that is open-hearted, when you come from a place that allows you to expand, not only are you expanding yourself, but you are giving permission for someone else to expand. Not just another person, a community. Not just a community, an entire state. Not just a state, but a world. That's the expansiveness that we're looking for. And this quote by Louise Hay, the thoughts we choose to think are the tools that the thoughts we choose to think are the tools that we use to paint the canvas of our lives. To me, that is the epitome of really understanding how we paint our own life, what we paint our life with, what we use to enrich our world. Are we a little muted, or are we super colorful? We get to choose. And then this quote by Ernest Holmes. Oh, it's not on here. You are the eternal being, now on the path of endless unfoldment, never less, but always more yourself. Life is not static. It is forever dynamic, forever creating something done and finished. Forever creating not something done and finished, but something alive, awake, and aware. There is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. Don't stop, because that possibility that is everything, that is tomorrow, exists within you today. And how that is when you're living an asterisk-free life. When there's no conditions, when there's no yeah buts, when there's I'm this old so I can't, or I'm that young and I can't, or I don't have this or I don't have that, or when I do this or when I do that. All of those are conditions that you're putting upon yourself. And when you can live a life that is free from that, you open the canvas to allow the paint to unfold in any way, shape, or form that it wants to the song that sings within, that is constantly rhythmic and beautiful and flowing through you, is allowed to shine. So I invite you, as Ernest Holmes says, to be awake, to be aware, to be alive. There is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Allow that song of eternity to constantly sing within you. Namaste.